What's up everybody? So if you've been following me a long time on this channel, you've seen me do a lot of things. You've seen me buy properties, flip them, you've seen me talk about entrepreneurial hustles, and you've seen me really talk about everything under the sun. Well, in this video, I had to sit down and talk about my ideas on crypto. Okay, so if anybody knows me or has followed me over the years, you know that I've been walking around mumbling about crypto for months, okay, trying to figure it out and trying to understand where it should go in my portfolio. See, last year I decided to sell off all my rental properties. And in doing so, I had accumulated a ton of cash. And when you hold a lot of cash, the biggest problem you have is what we call inflation. Well, see, nobody taught me any of this, and I had to learn on my own. So one of the goals for this channel has always been to tell people things that I didn't know, or to let y'all follow me along on my journey of whether I'm right or wrong. And I had to sit down, make this video to put my thoughts on video, maybe it helps somebody, maybe it doesn't, and you guys can comment in the comment section below and put your opinions in, because I think we're all kind of figuring out this crypto game on our own. So in this video, I'm gonna talk about the problem I'm incurring in the financial world with the more money I make, the more problems I have, just like Biggie said, how I got to this point, will crypto die, and my strategy on what coins I'm gonna hold and how I'm gonna accumulate them and what I'm gonna do going forward. I just got done talking with an older couple, probably in their 60s, and they were investing in crypto too. So this is an across the board new idea. I think the laws of finance and the laws of trading are not going to be the same on stocks as they are on crypto. And here's my idea on all of it. This video might take a while. It's going to take as long as it's going to take, because I'm going to put it out there because everybody keeps asking me, and I need to put it out there. I got to get this off my chest, guys. I got to vent this, okay? See, there's a big difference between the concept and the coins, okay? One thing we know is people are losing faith in our fiat currency system by the central bank, because every time we turn around, they are printing money, right? We've seen, what, 20% of all the amount of cash in existence in the dollar system increased by 20% this year, or this last year. We see the stock market pretty, like, I don't care what you say, it's being propped up by government money. We have the idea of smart contracts and NFTs and all these things coming to the market. And, you know, a lot of people are really losing faith in our fiat currency. And for me, I'm looking at the board and I see inflation is eating up my cash at an alarming rate. You know, the CPI is what, you know, they want to say inflation is 6%. And I am looking at it from an investor's point of view. I see, I'm a real estate agent, and I have seen real estate do some alarming things in the last, you know, year and a half. I was buying properties for $50,000, $60,000 here in Pensacola, and now I've sold them for, you know, 120, 125. We were having double gains. Like we were doubling our money on these properties. Rent rates are constantly going up. You know, I'm looking at the cost of turkeys going up. I'm seeing the cost of gas going up. You know, what used to, you know, you would get for $20 worth of gas is now $30. You know, we're across the board, we're seeing things. We're seeing the S&P 500 with froth of 30%. And I know a lot of people are going to say that froth, you know, blah, blah, blah. No, I look at the S&P 500 as an inflation waterline. And I know a lot of the old timers are not going to believe me that when I say this, but when I see the S&P 500 being up 30%, in 1 year, in the same amount of time where the Fed has increased the amount of cash out there by 20% or more, I say that is frothiness. That is a printed money being thrown in the stock market at an alarming rate. And if you're a young person, there's nowhere really to put your cash. You know, I was able to buy properties cash when I was flipping these properties, and now those same properties I can't buy cash. They've gotten too expensive for me, you know. And you know, I look at the millennial generation, and there's only a few places they can put their money. Okay, they can put their money in the stock market, okay, which is really high and frothy. Just like I said, in the S&P 500, the waterline is really high. Real estate is out of this world expensive right now. Do I think it is a bubble? No, I think we're seeing inflation in action. Housing costs more. There's less of it, and they're not making any more of it fast enough. You can't even get windows, you can't get AC units, you can't get permits done fast enough. The county inspectors are backed up for 2-3 weeks to get an air conditioner checked off on, or any little thing. You know, we are just seeing so many cumbersome things. So if you're a young person, the crypto market is the only real place to be able to put and gain wealth, okay? So that really kind of pushes me into saying, what is crypto? Well, I can't explain crypto in a 20-minute video, but what I can tell you, it is an idea of taking the bank out of the mix, and this breaks down a lot of the problems, because right now, and I noticed this was happening when I was cashing my real estate commission checks. The check has to be written archaic. Okay, who still writes checks? It has to go to a bank. It has to be deposited. It has to settle. Okay, and then 4 or 5 days later, it might be ACH to somebody else, which will then ACH it to me. Okay, so we're talking a week later, you get a check. Not to mention, we have to hold, because banker's hours, 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. Okay, you're not getting it after 5 o'clock. Wiring stops at 3:30 or whatever most of the times, and you can't move money, and it's so frustrating. If I have to send money to a friend in Malaysia, I have to go through a bank, and they're going to get their $35 wiring fee or whatever. They're going to take a piece, and he has to have a American, bank on the other side, or somebody that's, the treaties line up properly and they can receive money over there. But if I want to send crypto, it takes 2 seconds and it's really cheap. If I want to get on a plane today with $1 billion and fly to Dubai, I can put it on a thumb drive, or I can just keep it in a wallet and log in when I get there if I know the cipher. It solves so many problems. I mean, there's YouTubers out there right now that can't get a bank. They got to smuggle into a country to get a bank just for YouTube to deposit dollar bills in their account. And that just seems so archaic in a society of today. So all this being said, inflation running rampant, the dollar's devalued. If you have $100,000 in the bank and inflation's 6%, in a year, you've got $6,000 less. The number is the same, but you're being taxed secretly on this money because they're dropping bombs on the other side of the world. That's how they pay for this war stuff, is through inflation. That's how they pay for all this stimulus crap. It's through inflation. And guys like me, which have worked their entire life to put money in the bank, and the moment you get money in the bank, inflation runs rampant because the way the federal government wants to handle stuff. Then they come in with new taxes, and then they want, then property tax goes up because the local governments have got to get theirs, and it just goes on. And at some point, us little investors just start to break, right? And we start looking for other ways to put our money. And, I'm trying to vent this because I am looking for a new market. I took my money out of the real estate world because I thought things were getting really expensive. I made my money and I was ready to get out. Okay, and now I have my money and I got nowhere to put it. Stock market's all-time high, real estate market all-time high. You can't go buy. There's still deals out there in real estate, don't get me wrong. But the deals are not like they were, okay? Where you could buy cheap properties, multiple of them, and get a good rent rate. Now, it's outrun itself. So there's no other thing but crypto. And then for those of you out there that don't like what the federal government's doing or government oversight and you want anonymity, well, crypto is the thing. Where you can take all your money, put it on a device, and throw it in the dirt somewhere, and nobody ever knows where it is. That brings me into the next section. So I know a lot of people are saying, Jack, well, can it die? It's on the internet, it'll just die. No, that's what the blockchain is, okay? I'll link down below some links on what the blockchain is, just so you can dive into it if you're wanting to. But when we look at like Bitcoin or Ethereum, let's just take Bitcoin. There's thousands of nodes out there. It's peer-to-peer. That's what this is. It's where every node is looking at the other node, and they're looking against Ledger and say, hey, I'm watching you, you're watching me. I'm transferring this, you're transferring that. And if any part in the entire system it finds something that does not make sense, or you hack a node, or one node goes down, or a nuclear bomb goes off on one node, the other nodes notice and they pick up the slack, okay? And every time the miners start churning, the nodes are running, the ledger is being created. When you're in a bank, let's talk about a bank for a minute, okay? A bank is nothing but a ledger in one centralized spot. Bitcoin is a ledger in thousands of spots. If a banker wants to augment, or if the bank wants to, augment the ledger or change something or freeze your money, they can do it. If the government wants to confiscate it, they can do that. If whatever country you're watching this in, if they want to change the rules overnight, or you become somebody they don't like, they can just take your money. They can freeze it all. But at least with crypto, you can get on a plane tonight, go to the other side of the world where the rules are different, and you've got your money. You know, this would have kept a lot of catastrophes over the years from ever happening if we were able to just take our money with us, you know? And when the political unrest happened during the last election, it really made me think, if I had 50 properties out there and the riot started or whatever it was, and they threw bricks through all my windows, all my properties would be damaged, and who would be taking care of it? The government said, hey, we're going to keep them from having to pay you. We're going to change the rules on you. We're going to come in with landlord licensing and all these other things they're going to do. We're going to reassess the properties. We're going to tax them higher. The insurance agents now don't want to insure properties for riots or for, you know, any type of civil unrest. So why would I stick a ton of money in the dirt without a huge incentive that I can't take with me? It really made me reevaluate some of this stuff. But yet, crypto, an asset that is in the form of digital energy that can be put on a device or stored on the internet, that it took energy to create, that's peer-to-peer with other people watching, that is an asset that is going up in value or fluctuating in value instead of dying in a dead currency, okay? For every moment that dollar sits there in paper form, it's going down with no chance to go up, okay? And so that is what everybody loves about crypto. And I hope this all is making sense. So as I'm walking through this, I've spent days, researching Coinbase, Coinbase Pro, all the different exchanges, and how your money moves back and forth, and Tether coins and crypto. And I look at what Ethereum is doing with smart contracts. The NFT world is going nuts. I think it'll solve all the copyright. This NFTs, Ethereum will solve all the copyright issues. And I think the government really doesn't want that, because they don't want Clerk of the Courts to go away. They don't want, people to lose jobs. So they're archaically holding up this entire thing. Internet 3.0 is going to be this 3D, 4D environment of finance, digital finance, and ecosystem of purchase and sale, and things that are more than just Google and a Facebook page. This is going to be people living in the internet. Smart contracts and people buying and selling non-tangible items. NFTs, it's awesome. So I think that kind of solves the problem. Can it be hacked? No, there's thousands of nodes. They can be put in the dirt. If the entire internet was hacked or a nuclear bomb hit, we've got more problems than that. The entire financial infrastructure of itself now is the internet. It's digital. It would be the exact same way. The whole bank would disappear, versus all the other nodes would pick up the slack in crypto. I think if we move into a space economy, which is coming, they're not going to be taking $1 bills in paper format to the International Space Station to buy something. It's not going to happen. It's going to be a digital exchange. And that really breaks into my next topic is, will regulation kill it? And I thought at first that would happen, because I really started researching this. I was like, man, they'll kill it. The central bank will kill it. They'll just regulate it to death, and it'll just squeeze out. And then I saw Australia say, you know what? No, we're gonna really look into this. India changed its ruling overnight from they were gonna outlaw it to no, it's an asset and we're gonna tax it. And then the Federal Reserve and even guys on Capitol Hill were like, no, wait a minute. We're gonna put it into the Build Back Better plan, and we're going to tax it, and that's going to pay for some of our infrastructure. And I was like, wait a minute. This isn't a currency. It's not a dollar for dollar. I pay you, or I have dollar, and there's not a taxable event that goes on. This is a asset moves, taxable event goes on the capital gains, and now they can make some money. And I think they're looking at it like, hey, let's let this thing go on because we can tax it. Now the government's happy. And what do people get? Instead of buying tangible gold that you put in a safe that you have to provide security to, and you can't move it because it weighs 1 million pounds, that bankers can fluctuate the price of it, write notes against it, and miners can oversupply and undersupply, has its own inflationary weird thing that goes on. But here's Bitcoin. It is what it is. It can move at the speed of light. I can pay a dude on the other side of the planet right now. It's secure. We haven't seen that it's not. It's backed up by thousands of nodes, peer-to-peer, and everybody can see what's going on and who holds them. We're cooking with peanut oil here. So I will say this about crypto, and it's starting to rain if you can hear it, but I'm outside because Samantha kicked me out because the baby's in there. The thing about this is if Satoshi is found out and everybody finds out who he is, I think Bitcoin will do some weird stuff. And whatever billion coins or whatever he has sitting out there, they start moving, everybody's going to question that now somebody can skew the market. And that was why he's anonymous. It's because we know if we knew who he was, the market would be different. Bitcoin's supposed to be of the people, of normal people, away from the powers to be. So it really changes the way we look at money. And everybody says, well, what can you do with it? What is it? It's nothing. Well, that's the point. Because if it was tobacco or steel or whatever, it would skew the market. Whether it was corn and you're paying in corn grains or you're paying in tobacco leaves, it could skew itself. But this is what it is, and there's only so many. The Federal Bank or Federal Reserve can't print more of them. They can't change the amount we have. It just is what it is. And as long as other people think it's valuable, it's valuable. One reason why we think that the fiat currency we have of the dollar is valuable is because it's backed by, the army and ships, and people have the dollar, and they say it's safe because it's America, but it's nothing but a debt note. Okay, it's fiat. It can't be moved very well. The bankers slow it down. It can't be stored. It's paper. It will disintegrate. A Bitcoin can be put on a ledger, and it can be put in the ground for 1,000 years. Or it can just be stored in your head. That's wild. It's starting to rain. And I want to say this, nothing goes up forever. Okay, the dot-com bust, it happened, but the internet didn't go away. The financial/real estate bubble in 2008 happened, but that didn't go away. Just a fracture went away. Okay, and we fixed it. Now, will crypto have its hiccups? Yes. But the idea of smart contracts, the blockchain, Bitcoin, and the top tier tokens, the idea, the concept, will be here forever. It's changed the way we look at finance. It's hard to even wrap my head around how big this internet change could be. DeFi and all these things that go on with Ethereum and the things you can build on top of Ethereum, the copyright issues, there'll be no more copyright. It will be smart contracts. They'll execute themselves. People won't be able to steal the Mona Lisa. We'll be able to know if this is the Mona Lisa. So-and-so owns it. So-and-so transferred it. There's where it started. They'll save so much of our problems. I even think that recording artists will do a profit share, just like Gary Vaynerchuk said, with NFTs, album covers, and sharing profit with their fans. Let's say 80-20. Fans get 20. If they, move the NFTs or sell the NFTs, or they have a profit share split with the artist, which spreads, it gives fans the reason to spread people's work, in a copyright environment. It just makes everything streamlined, transactions streamlined, and it gets the banker out of all of this. And when I saw it, it revolutionizes everything. So I think this is something you got to definitely get comfortable with. It is here to stay. Something to put in your kit bag of your financial tools. For me, I said, you know what? I'm going to grab me a Coinbase, which I'll link down below if you want to start there. Coinbase Pro. I got me a wallet. I started moving money in. And the first thing I did was I just moved a few $100 over there. And I was like, you know what? I don't care about the gas fees. I need to learn how to do this. So I basically just started on down days accumulating dollar cost averaging in. And until I got comfortable with moving things back and forth, my wallet, the cipher keys, everything I needed to do. Watched a ton of things on YouTube, talked to all my buddies trying to figure out how this stuff works. And which are some pretty savvy investors. They're just not guys on the street. And I came to this conclusion. It basically solves asset movement problems of moving dollar from to and fro because it can be done at the speed of light and just with a click and the guy's got his money. There's no bank in between. It solved the problem of the unbanked, okay? 1.7 billion people out there right now don't have a bank and they have nowhere to put their money, and put their money in a bank. If they do have a bank, the government basically inflates it overnight and they have less money the next day. Because if you look at our currencies, let's say you have the peso versus the dollar at 1 to 200 or whatever it is, and it's getting inflated way faster than the dollar, okay? And let's say you're paid in pesos and it's being inflated overnight, or the government just comes in and takes it all. In some cases, some of these countries, wouldn't you want to be paid in Bitcoin or Ethereum and put it on Ledger that nobody knows where it is, and then you can move to any country and take it out overnight? I mean, like, that seems like a great idea to me. It solves the unbanked problem. And as long as they have a $50 phone and power, they have a bank account. And it's boom, boom, which is a decentralized bank, peer-to-peer. The ledger is watched by everybody. We know when somebody's cheating. That just seems like a great idea to me. Not to mention it has a power growth ability, and it can be moved through time and space very easily. Not to mention there's anonymity to it, which is another reason. You know, a lot of people say, oh, money laundering, money laundering. There's going to be a ton of money laundering. So is the art world. It's been around forever. It's not going anywhere. But a lot of people don't want people in their business every time they want to do something. You know, that's the idea of, you know, George Orwell's 1982 or whatever, and the government looking at everything you got, which is scary to me. You know, that wasn't what America was founded on, but it's because what it's become. They know everything you do. Everybody knows what everything you do. All right, sum this thing up. I know this video has gotten really long. My plan is I'm going to dollar cost average into Ethereum, Bitcoin, Cardano, and Solana, the top coins, and any other programs which I think are interesting. I'm going to build a portfolio just like I would in stocks with an allocation like 80-20. 80% good stuff, 20% on the speculative side, because I want some explosive growth. Okay, so when I was trading stocks back in the old days, and that's how I bought my first house, was I was buying and selling stocks. And one thing I realized is you got to have, as a young person, some speculation in your portfolio, because you got to have an idea to have some explosive growth that could change your life. And I invested in Facebook back in the day, and it was explosive growth. Okay, and it allowed me to buy this house. And see, you have three things you need to be when you're an investor: a saver, an investor, and a speculator, right? You need to divide your portfolio up into those three things. So you have your savings, you have your investments, you know, stocks, bonds, real estate, things like that. And then you have a speculation category where you're making educated guesses on things that can go to the moon, okay? For a young man, that's what put me over the top. Was I took some speculative things, buying some speculative properties, some speculative stocks that I took a good educated opinion on, educated guess, and they went to the moon, okay? And I've seen all this before with social media when people were telling me it was stupid and social media was stupid. I have seen all this stuff before. And when you look through the comments about crypto, everybody says this is stupid, but I saw it all before with social media, and we all know how that turned out. So basically what I'm telling you, I'm going to dollar cost average into Bitcoin. I'm going to dollar cost average into Ethereum. I'm going to dollar cost average into a few other coins. Right now, probably Cardano and Solana. And then I'm going to look and see what happens. And then if Bitcoin and Ethereum come back down, right now I think it's $50,000 for Bitcoin and it's about $4,100 for Ethereum. If it comes back lower than that and I get a 10-15% pullback, I'm going to buy it. Okay. I personally think Ethereum is going to go a lot further up right now than what it is. I think Bitcoin is going to continue to go up because there's too much big money invested into it for it to just fizzle. Okay, I think we have a cycle of coin ownership right now. I call this the cycle of crypto money. Okay, so we have our fiat dollars and our stable coins, the ones that were created. The money moved from there to Bitcoin, and then it moved from there to Ethereum and the other top 100 coins. And then from there, it moved to the things like Dogecoin and the meme coins. Those coins is what I'm saying, stay away from. Yeah, there's big upside, but don't think that they're anything like Bitcoin and Ethereum. They are meme coins that are made to be funny and fun and interesting. If you want to play that game, think of it as trading baseball cards, okay? But the money is going to eventually move out of those meme coins back into the big coins, the top ones, the Ethereum, the Bitcoin, and those are going to take the run. This is not financial advice. This is me, a YouTuber, just trying to tell you my opinion because I think it's pretty interesting. I truly think that A lot of the big institutions are going to pick this stuff up. Visa, MasterCard are already putting things in the works to have a Bitcoin card, MasterCard, payment systems. I mean, people are getting into the ledger game. It's here to stay. It's going to happen. And it might look a little different 5-10 years from now than it is right now. And I like to look at it as, you know, Facebook and Twitter were the beginning, and then you saw Instagram and a lot of other things come along the way, Snapchat, things like that. And I think the crypto world is going to see some winners down the line, but right now, the best of breeds are Bitcoin and Ethereum. And I think that's just the way it's going to be for a while. I think everybody should get some exposure and try to figure out where they play in this game. It might be just small ball, you know, a few $1,000 here and there, just like what you would put in your safe, you know. And then there's going to be some people that go big and try, you know. And if inflation is going to eat $20,000 or $30,000 a year of your cash, why not try to go to the moon with it in crypto? You're going to lose it anyways because inflation is going to steal it from you. It's the secret tax. And simply because there's a lack of opportunities for most of us investors right now that don't have a ton of money, crypto is our game. The financial world is changing, and the idea of having to centralize everything is old. Nobody trusts anybody anymore. But that's all I got, guys. That's it for this video, and that's really what I wanted to talk about. I hope it helps somebody because it took me a long time to figure this out, okay? Weeks, months, okay? So I hope it helps. And comment down below what your thought is. You might disagree with me, whatever. I'm just putting it out there for the world. See you guys later.